It's been a while, hasn't it? I guess my last video was a little while ago. Um, so you guys are probably thinking, Gabe, what could possibly have made you come back with your whole 65 subscribers that I might have had? Something like that. I don't know. Well, it's been a while. I haven't posted a video in quite some time. Um, I've thought about it, of course, as most people do. They take absences and come back. But this isn't a video to say anything important or anything like that. You clicked on this video because you want to buy a car. I had to buy a car at some point. Everybody has to buy a car at some point. Whether you have to go to work, whether you got to go to school, whether you got to go to church, everybody has different needs for a car. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how. How do you pick the car you want? First, we'll load up Facebook Marketplace, okay? Now, obviously, you know, you can go to Carvana, you could go to CarMax, you could go, I don't know any of the other ones, but you could go to a dealer, you could get a used car from there. But if you want a real car, you come to Facebook Marketplace. I'm not sure where I was looking at. We'll go down to vehicles, and then we have a decent set of vehicles to look at. We'll start. What do you want to look for when looking for a car? The first step is figuring out why do you want a car. Now, in my case, I wanted to get out of the house. I was thinking I got to get the heck out of here. And what better way to do that than be able to drive myself basically anywhere I wanted. I'm sure most of you feel the same way. You want to get out of the house. You maybe go to college, you might have a job, you got to get there, want to get yourself there. You don't want to keep spending money on Ubers. God, no, everybody hates Ubers. So you figured out why you want a car. Step two, what kind of car do you want? You don't want an SUV, okay? You don't. There's no point in an SUV. I'm gonna be honest. No hate to anybody that drives an SUV, of course. There's some cool SUVs like this Jeep Trackhawk or this Nissan Rogue right here. But no, you don't want an SUV. Just get a truck. People argue, I wanted to get an SUV for more space. You can fit more stuff in a truck. They have a bed. They've got a cover for the bed, so even the stuff that you want to put in there, it can't get wet or anything. And you can be like, "Well, I don't need a truck to haul around all this stuff." That's fine. Then just get a sedan. You can fit a perfect amount of like groceries, literally like soccer stuff, anything you need. Any soccer mom utility you would want, you can fit in a sedan. There's no point in getting an SUV. Now, I may be biased. I do hate SUVs. But when it comes down to it, it's just like get a car. Just don't get an SUV, okay? Back to Facebook Marketplace. You figured out you don't want an SUV. Let's just say you want a sedan, right? You don't need anything too extravagant. You just want something a little low key, all right? Primary audience is not going to know a lot about cars. This car does only come in manual. It does have a inline 6-cylinder engine, which is fairly reliable. However, all right, I want you guys to pay attention. We clicked on the post, right? You found a sedan that you like. You're a car guy, you think it's cool, whatever. We open this post, the first thing you see is it's in the shop, the hood is off. If we go back, it doesn't look like there's an engine in here. And right here is a crankshaft, which means they're rebuilding the engine. That is a huge red flag. And so don't get a car. When you're looking for a car, steer away from any car actually, let's look. Rebuilt engine at 250K. Unless you're a car guy and like you're going to work on it all the time, do not buy a car that has a rebuilt engine because it will just burn a hole in your pocket and you don't know what's been done to it. You don't know what kind of like MacGyver stuff they had to do to that car to get that engine in there, and just save yourself the money, save yourself the time, and buy a car that already runs. I would look for something with a little longer description, just so you know what you're getting into. See, we found our car. We want a Mercedes. Okay, it's an AMG GT 63S. It's $69,900. Pocket change for the majority, you know. Um, Now we read the description. It's pretty long. It says car is in great shape. No mechanical issues. Was just serviced and detailed as well. Not really a plus. If you're looking and a description says car runs and drives, has AC and working sunroof, anything along those lines, it's not a plus. It's just what the car is supposed to do. So when it says pros and cons, don't look at that like a plus or a minus. Think of, does the car run how it should? Having AC isn't a pro. That's just the car's supposed to have AC. Back to this car, very fast car, 630 horsepower, a little high for, the general population, I would say. Most might not need that much horsepower. It is a heavy car, being a luxury Mercedes, so it's not going to feel like track quick or anything, but definitely has enough to get you around. Let me know if you have any questions. That is a green flag, guys. Look for that. You can always just text the seller, ask them if you have any questions at all. Transmission, engine. If they have record of servicing, that is also a green flag. Look for that. They have a lien with Bank of America, which means that the car is currently being paid off. So that means that this 69,000 will, you can buy it in cash, but currently it's being paid off in car payments, so they're going to hand the lien over to you through the title, which means that you need to fill out that section of the title and take over their car payments, which obviously if you're looking for this car, you most likely have the money to do so. But like I said, there's always option to buy it in full once you get the lien in hand. It says no trades. I don't know what you would trade for this vehicle. Once you find the car you want, you've looked through the description, you figured out it looks in good condition, it's not out of your budget, it says it has a clean title. We'll get that out in a second. Um, it's everything you want in a car. It's got a lot of horsepower per se. It's whatever you're looking for. Sedan, obviously. You're gonna want to ask the seller for the VIN number, which is basically when you buy a car, each car is manufactured with a certain number. Here, they actually have a picture of the VIN number. And so you're gonna take this, you're gonna take this number, and you're gonna look up, just look up VIN, look up, all right? And this is the first one that'll pop up called VIN verified. Check the VIN number. You're gonna click on this, and it's gonna take you to this website. See, I've already used it, so I'm gotta blur that. But it's gonna basically, you just put in the VIN and you like answer some questions, and then it's like $1. You pay like $1 and you can see everything about the car, and you can cancel. What I do is you just pay $1, you cancel it right after. You don't have to pay any more than that. You can pay for a monthly plan, not sponsored, but that's not what I do, you know. So once you've checked the VIN and you've seen that the car has a clean title, it's not been in any accidents, good service history, looks like it's in good condition, then the next thing is contacting the seller. You're going to click this little message button right here. You could always say something like, "Hey, I'm interested in buying this car. I would love to come look at it Sunday if possible. Thanks." You can say pretty much anything you want. If you have any questions regarding the car, regarding the VIN, service history, anything that looks a little off, if it's got like a ding or scratch or anything like that, feel free to ask. Most sellers are pretty open about it. And then, yeah, you would just click this send message here, and then they'll get back to you, and then you just go and you test drive the car for sure. If you want to get a test drive, it's like you're the one buying the car, so feel free to look in every wheel well, in the engine bay, in the trunk, up and down, test drive it, see if you hear any different like weird kind of noises that you don't recognize, because the last thing you want is to drive a car home and realize that you have to work on it. I've done this. Just get a car you know is in good condition. German engineering is known for being fairly unreliable, so obviously this probably isn't the best example, but you lose some, you win some. Once you've got the money in hand and you just give it to the person, and then they sell you the car, and you drive off. Now, before you go anywhere, get insurance. When you buy the car, you're not going to have a license plate. You got to take it to the DMV. You need to get it registered. You need to pay the taxes on it. And sometimes if it's out of state, you'll have to pay an extra fee for an out of state tax. It's like 90 bucks maybe, I'm not really sure. Depends on the state you're in. Make sure to get insurance, because even if you do get pulled over like I did, you can just be like, I just bought this car. I've got insurance on it. I'm just driving it home. And majority of the time, the cop will be like, okay, just as long as you have insurance, get it registered as soon as you have the chance. So basically, guys, that's how you buy a car. I didn't go over any other methods in this video. Like Cars and Bids is a website that sells cars, and you can auction off cars. It's like eBay, but for cars. Obviously Carvana and CarMax, just two websites you can buy used cars that you'll know are in good condition. And if you're about to spend $69,000 on an AMG, I would go through a dealership, to be honest. But I didn't go over dealerships. I'm just basically talking about Facebook Marketplace, because if you're in college, you're like a student, you got a little bit of extra cash, you want a car, you're not going to have a ton of money to spend. If you're a kid, you don't have a ton to spend on a car, the best place is to look for like a beater on Facebook Marketplace and just fix it up yourself and drive that thing until it runs into the ground. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. It might be another however many long it's been since I posted, so stay tuned for that.